Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful Thursday morning. We're getting towards the end of February here. Thought I'd jump on here real quick this morning. Talk about something that I saw. I actually saw it yesterday. I just didn't have time yesterday to jump on here and do a quick video, but I was looking at some stats for housing, and obviously we hear the word affordability now quite a bit. Everybody talks about it. Our elected officials talk about affordability and how we're going to make housing more affordable. Good luck to them. I hope they can do it. A lot of things out of whack, but at the same time, for us, what I see is just simple supply and demand. The supply can't keep up with the demand that we currently have, and that's what's driving up home prices. You have people, when there's more people buying homes than the homes that are available, then you're going to have bidding wars, and that's what we've seen for a numerous number of years now. As multiple offers for crazy amounts over list price, sometimes $10,000 or $20,000, but I've submitted offers where we offered $100,000 over asking, and we still didn't get the property. So that's a problem. That's a problem. That's what's driving up the prices. People were coming to closing with the extra money. It's not that the homes were all of a sudden appraising for more. They are. I mean, values have gone up. Homes have appreciated. When homes in a neighborhood sell and you have enough homes sell for X, then the other homes are going to naturally rise up with that. So that's what we've seen for several years, but we still have not fixed the inventory issue. Builders are trying to build as quickly as possible, but now we have limitations on them when it comes to the cost of building materials, construction materials, nails, glue, lumber, things like that. So that's what's really hindering that, as well as the cost to build when it comes to labor. I'm not saying those guys should get paid less money, not saying that at all, but that is part of it that goes into it. Labor costs have increased, insurance costs, workman's comp, all that increases, so that adds to the amount that they have to charge for those homes, and that pushes everything up. And this is even affecting rentals. Seeing a lot more people renting now out of necessity, really, but lack of homes to purchase, can't find the home that they want, or they're getting beat out on offers, so they have to have somewhere to live. People need housing, they need a shelter, so they end up renting, and so many people are complaining about the cost of rentals now, and I agree it's high, but then again, the local governments derive a lot of their money, a lot of their revenue from taxes, and those taxes are property taxes, which is a big one. Property taxes fund so much. They fund schools, they fund roads, they fund welfare programs, they fund local community outreach programs, they fund the majority of what your local government, state government, national government, what they do, and they offer their constituents. So with that being said, when those taxes go up and values go up, well, that's gonna affect each other, and then you're paying more in taxes. Well, the landowner or the landlord that owns that rental now has to pay more for their taxes. So they're going to build that into the rental amount that they're going to charge, so they don't go in the hole owning that rental. It's a cycle. It affects everybody. But anyway, the stats that I saw yesterday was talking about affordability, and it's from the Census Bureau, and it says, they like to see on average about 28 to 30% being a comfortable range of the average person's monthly expenses go towards housing. Currently, we're at about 33%. So they're saying that, we've reached a point with affordability that it's really impacting Americans, and it's not just rentals, it's homeowners as well. They're saying on average, for the average American, 33% of their monthly expenditures go towards housing. I believe it. I see it. The cost of everything has gone up, and I personally don't see it backing off. Some areas around here are cooling off, but we're not seeing a decline in values. I'd be hard pressed to think that anybody in our area would say we're seeing a decline in values. We're seeing a plateau in a lot of areas, but there's still areas where we're seeing multiple offers. We're seeing homes go for over asking, and that's because some of the communities within St. Charles and St. Louis are very, very highly sought after. One that I can think of, and I know firsthand, is the Cottleville area. We're seeing, multiple offers on homes that are for sale in the Cottleville area. I don't live inside the city limits of Cottleville, as I've been reminded by some Cottleville residents, but we are right there on the border of it, and gosh, everybody wants to be in our subdivision. And our homes are 40 years old. The exterior on a lot of them show their age. A lot of them have been updated. They've been rehabbed and are beautiful on the inside, but it's still 40 plus year old homes. But we have almost half-acre lots, and we have a subdivision pool, and we have large mature trees on almost every lot, and we're right across from the high school. So there's a lot of amenities and a lot of attractiveness that go with that. But that's still to say that those are 40 plus year old homes that are bringing close to $500,000 now, and most of them were built for about $126,000 to $150,000 brand new back in the late 70s, early 80s. Again, it's demand, right? There's a demand for that neighborhood. You go to others, and homes that are priced higher than they should be, or at the top of what the price range was 3 years ago, they're sitting on the market, and they're experiencing that average days on market that has increased. 3-4 years ago, it was less than 30 days. Now we're looking at about 70, 71 days. So if you don't price it correctly for your neighborhood, for your area, then it's likely to sit on the market, which I know people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's happening. What's wrong with my house? Well, you still have to price it right, and it has to look nice, it has to be good condition, and the location's got to be desirable. So, and that brings me to my thought about renting. I know most real estate agents will say, buy, but that's not for everybody's situation. I don't think that you necessarily have to buy a house, need to buy a house. For those that want to own a piece of land on this earth and want to achieve the quote-unquote American dream, yeah, buy a home. If you can afford it, if it's what you want to do, and you want to take on the work of, maintaining the yard and maintaining the exterior, taking care of the inside, all of the responsibilities that come with owning a home, do it. I think it's a good idea. I rarely think that's a bad idea to own a home, unless you make yourself house poor. Don't do that. But renting is also a good scenario for a lot of people. I think about a guy that I had as a client several years ago. I probably signed a lease for him 4 or 5 years in a row on a loft downtown. He was a single guy, pilot, and traveled a lot, obviously. And he just didn't want the hassle of mowing the grass, dealing with the exterior, dealing with all of the responsibilities of owning a home. He wanted to rent something that was furnished. He wanted to rent something that had a parking garage spot. He wanted something that he could basically just come into, live, leave, come back as he pleased, and not have to worry about any of the other responsibilities. And I found him one, beautiful place downtown. He also was a Cardinals and Blues season ticket holder, so that was centrally located for him, and he was willing to pay for it. He actually spent well over $5,000 a month for all the stuff he wanted, but at the end of the day, it was the perfect situation for him. That wouldn't have worked for me. I don't think I would have ever enjoyed that lifestyle unless I was single, but it worked for him. It was perfect for him. So to each their own, and everyone has to look at their own situation. And if you've got a real estate agent or somebody telling you, oh, you gotta own, no, you don't. I think it's good to own, but everybody, like I said, their scenario and their situation dictates what's best for them and what they want to do. So that's my take on it. That's what I got to say for today. Hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy this weather. It's supposed to be a really nice day. I think upper 50s. We're going to be cruising towards warm weather here for a few days, so that's awesome. If you're a wrestling fan and you're in the Columbia area, or even not too far from a trip to Columbia, Missouri, I highly recommend going and taking in the Missouri State High School Association Wrestling Tournament. Class 1 and 2 started yesterday, as well as Class 1 girls, and tomorrow Class 3 and 4 boys and Class 2 girls start. And it's just a great environment. I know there's a lot of people big basketball fans, and there's nothing wrong with basketball. There's nothing wrong with all the other sports. I love a lot of sports. I enjoy sports, but there is nothing like the atmosphere of a wrestling tournament, especially that level of wrestling tournament where dreams and good 10 plus years of effort and work and dedication are made and broke sometimes. So if you get a chance, take some time and go and take in the tournament. It is an amazing tournament. I think actually NCAAs are back in St. Louis next year, so that would be another great one. That environment is insane. It is legit fucking insane. The energy, you just can't help but just be hyped walking in there and seeing just the level of athlete that is competing there. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking this out. Hope it was good information, guys, and have a great day. Be kind, be nice, smile at somebody, make their day. Take care.